English 201, week 5, part 7. All right, so let's keep going with the Kafka. This is going pretty good, I think. I got some glasses. I forgot to put my glasses on. Only got one free hand, so okay. But I think that weather thing is important. It's worth, like, oftentimes when you have a character who is looking at an animal or the landscape or the weather, what they describe is often more of a reflection of how they're feeling, and that feeling then that will let you know what's going on inside them, and that's how you get kind of metaphors for how they're feeling. I already said that. Why am I saying this again? Okay. Um, cool. All right. Let's see. The next quote I want to look at is he would have thought he was. No, I said the right. She would quickly close the door as a precaution so no one would have to suffer the view into Gregor's room. Then she would go straight to the window and pull it hurriedly open, almost as if she were suffocating. So again, she treats Gregor like he's something sick, something no one should have to look at. And then she catches him, and he does this thing where he hides underneath the couch to make her feel better. Again, the guilt, like his body is so shameful that he should hide. He should have to hide his body for other people's comfort levels, because it upsets people to look at him. But like he didn't do anything wrong. This is not like, what did he do wrong? That's his body. You get a body. It looks like, you have a body, and it looks like, not your fault. It looks like the way it looks. Um, uh, and she freaks out when she sees him out. A stranger would have thought he had threatened her and tried to bite her, right? Like the way she reacts, she sees him like a threat. But she found his appearance unbearable. It made him realize that she found his appearance unbearable and would continue to do so. She probably even had to overcome the urge to flee when she saw the little bit of him that protruded from under the couch. One day, in order to spare her even this sight, he spent 4 hours carrying the bed sheets over to the couch on his back and arranged it so he was completely covered, and his sister would not have to see him even if she bent down. She did not think this was necessary. If she did not think this was necessary, the sheet was necessary, then all she had to do was take it off again, as it was clear enough that it was no pleasure for Gregor to cut himself off so completely. She left the sheet where it was. So I messed that up a little bit. He had not been hiding under the couch. When she came in the room, he was out, and this is when he gets the idea to hide under the couch and put a sheet on top of himself. But again, he's like, he takes him 4 hours to cover up his body, and he's like, maybe it's not necessary. Maybe she'll take it off, and she doesn't really mind. She minds. She wants him to stay covered. Again, I get it. He's a giant cockroach. That's fucking disgusting. I'm not saying I would want to like hang out with a giant cockroach either. I'd probably find it pretty disturbing. But but you want to kind of make a leap to be like, to try to understand a loved one and a family member, especially someone who's devoted years, sacrificed years of his life to taking care of you. You might want to try to make some kind of effort. And also, it really, because he's a giant cockroach, it puts you, the reader, in the position of so many parents who are upset or horrified by their people, by their family members, for being gay or for being trans or for being sick, for having certain kinds of illnesses. Deformities is another one. People who are deformed, or people who have bad scars, right? And all kind of people have all kinds of physical issues. So, and this it really puts you in the position of these people and asks you, like, why are you treating people that look different from you in this sort of inhuman way? Okay, cool. For the first 14 days, Gregor's parents could not bring themselves to come into the room to see him. 2 weeks. Gregor's parents, who he has taken care of and sacrificed for, have not seen him for 2 weeks. These guys are assholes. He was especially fond of hanging. This is one of those moments where he seems happy. He was especially fond of hanging from the ceiling. It was quite different from lying on the floor. He could breathe more freely. His body had a light swing to it, and up there, relaxed and almost happy. Like he has a good time. This is one of those moments where this doesn't have to be a disaster. Maybe there's something cool about being transformed into a cockroach. Maybe there's something fun about it. I realize it's gross, but like, he had a shitty life before. Like, he finds moments of happiness in this. It's I guess there's these slight moments where he seems happy, and I just wonder what would happen if he had a supportive family who would sort of so that he could find those moments of happiness more easily. Okay, cool. Greta brings the mother in, and she says, "You can come in. He can't be seen." And then they decide to take the furniture away, out of the room. By taking the furniture away, won't it seem like we've given up hope of improvement and we're abandoning him to cope for himself? I think it'd be best to leave the room exactly the way it was before, so that when Gregor comes back to us again, he'll find everything unchanged and he'll be able to forget the time in between all the easier. Um, that's Gregor's mother. It's an interesting moment because Gregor also holds out this hope, and his mother holds out this hope that things will get back to normal. Things will get back to normal. Think about children who upset their parents by doing something that disturbs them, and parents go, "Oh, it's just a phase. They'll be back. This is just something you're experimenting with. This isn't real. It's just a phase." Parents frequently don't take their children seriously. And you have a big announcement about a change into your life, and people go, you'll get back to normal soon. And they don't take it seriously. Because frequently parents, they have a version of you when you were quite younger, and they sort of freeze you there. It's like your family would be like, "Oh, we know you so well," and then when they give examples of how well they know you, it's usually like a bunch of stuff that happened when you were 7. And like, do they know the adult you very well? um, but Gregor's mother, and Gregor sometimes too, is holding into some kind of hope that maybe he's going to go back to normal, even though there is absolutely no reason to think that's the case. Again, there's never a suggested remedy. What could he do to stop being a bug? Like, um, I think one of the reasons I like this too is that Gregor is a metaphor. Turning into a bug is a metaphor for being a kind of outsider that is that maybe there's good things in being an outsider, but also many normal people find it repulsive or upsetting. This is also why I like the X-Men. It's a similar kind of metaphor because it works for. You can see the X-Men as being a metaphor for different races, for being queer, for disability. There's all kinds of yeah, so it works. The X-Men and Gregor the Cockroach work in similar ways because it sort of captures a whole bunch of different. It's a story about being an outsider with people who should know you well, and that covers a lot of territory, including race and religion and bodies, weight, disability, queerness. Old age. There's just so much kind of in there that it's a very rich metaphor. Um, Hearing these words from his mother made Gregor realize the lack of any direct communication, along with a monotonous life led by his family during these 2 months, must have made him confused. He could think of no other way of explaining to himself why he'd seriously wanted his room emptied out. Has he really wanted to transform his room into a cave, a warm room fitted out with the nice furniture he had inherited? That would have let him crawl around unimpeded in any direction, but it also would have let him quickly forget his fat past when he had still been human. Um, Gregor's sort of caught between two lives. He doesn't know if he wants to, is he going to embrace the. This is a moment of transition. Is he going to embrace his new life, in which case he doesn't need furniture anymore because he's going to be a bug forever? Or is he trying to hang on to his old self, in which case he will need the furniture again at some point because he's a human being deep down? It's he doesn't transition in either direction. He doesn't know what to do. He can't fully embrace this new self, but he can't let go of the he can't fully go back to the way he was, but he also can't fully embrace his new self. And any kind of big change like that, people feel like, can I go back? You have to decide: are you going to go back to the way you were before, or are you going to move forward with this new kind of life? And Gregor doesn't. He's really trapped, and it is a legitimately tough decision. It's difficult. Um, okay, cool. It's also worth pointing out here that Gregor's sister, they talk about her unexpected confidence she had recently acquired. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later. But that Gregor's sister is has an important role in the family. She's starting to become like uh, actually I guess I'll say this now. Maybe I'll say it now. I'll say it now. The story's called the Metamorphosis or the Transformation. It means change. What's interesting about it is that you'd think the whole story would be about changing, but actually, the change for Gregor is over after the first sentence. If you had to pick a character that changes, that metamorphosizes, that transforms in the course of the story, it's Gregor's sister. Um, I wonder what the title of the story refers to. I mean, obviously, it refers to Gregor transforming into a bug, but he's a bug after one sentence. The person that changes across the whole story is his sister, who goes from being kind of mousy and useless to being she's growing up. She's starting to become an adult. All right, I'll pick it up in the next video.